Emma stood in front of Ryan's apartment door, excitement bubbling inside her. Tonight was special, he had promised her a surprise. As she knocked, the door swung open, and there he was, standing in a dimly lit room filled with scented candles and rose petals scattered across the floor. The soft melody of a love song played in the background. Ryan's blue eyes locked onto hers, filled with a passion that made her heartbeat quicken. "You look breathtaking," he whispered, pulling her inside and closing the door. Before she could respond, his hands gently cupped her face, and he leaned in, his lips brushing against hers in a slow, lingering kiss. Emma sighed against his lips, wrapping her arms around his neck as the kiss deepened. His fingers traced the curve of her waist, pulling her closer until there was no space between them. Ryan lifted her effortlessly, carrying her to the couch, never breaking the kiss. His lips traveled down her neck, pressing soft, teasing kisses against her skin. Emma shivered, tilting her head back, lost in the sensation. "I love you," he murmured against her ear. Her fingers tangled in his hair as he kissed her again, this time more passionately. His hands roamed her back, his touch sending waves of warmth through her body. Emma felt her heart race. She had never felt this love before. They spent the night wrapped in each other's arms, whispering sweet promises, stealing kisses every chance they got. Every touch, every glance was filled with undeniable love. Ryan made her feel like she was the only woman in the world. The next day, Emma decided to surprise him at his gym. She walked inside, expecting to see him training, but instead she froze. Across the room, Ryan stood with another woman, a stunning brunette with perfect curves. Emma's breath caught in her throat. The girl was laughing, her hand resting on Ryan's chest. And then, before Emma could blink, Ryan leaned in, his lips capturing the girl's in a deep, passionate kiss. Her heart stopped. The same lips that had kissed her last night. The same man who had whispered love in her ear. Tears filled her eyes, but she swallowed them back. Her fingers curled into fists. She needed answers. Emma's heart pounded in her chest as she stood frozen, watching the man she loved kiss another woman. The way his hands rested on the girl's waist, the way his lips moved against hers. It felt like a dagger slicing through her soul. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she refused to cry. Not here. Not in front of strangers. Taking a deep breath, she forced her legs to move and marched toward them. "Ryan!" Her voice trembled, but her anger overshadowed the pain. Ryan pulled away instantly, his eyes widening in shock as he saw Emma standing there. The girl beside him looked between them, confused. "Emma, I can explain," Ryan started, but Emma didn't let him finish. "Explain what?" "That you were just testing how her lips taste," she snapped, her voice laced with hurt. Ryan sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's not what it looks like. Please just come with me." Emma wanted to resist, but something in his eyes made her pause. Against her better judgment, she let him pull her outside, away from the prying eyes in the gym. As soon as they stepped into his car, he turned to her. "Emma, you have to trust me. That kiss, it didn't mean anything." She scoffed, looking away. "It didn't mean anything? Ryan, I saw the way you held her." Ryan cupped her face gently, turning her gaze back to him. "Emma, I love you. Only you." His voice was desperate, his blue eyes pleading. Before she could say another word, his lips crashed against hers. Emma gasped. But the moment his arms wrapped around her, she felt herself melting into him. His kiss was urgent, filled with raw emotion. She clutched his shirt, pulling him closer, needing to feel that he was still hers. His hands roamed down her back, pressing her against him. The kiss deepened, their breaths mingling as the car filled with heat and tension. Ryan pulled away just enough to whisper, "I can't lose you, Emma." She stared at him, her heart torn between love and pain. Could she trust him again? Instead of answering, she kissed him again, pouring every ounce of emotion into it. For now, she just wanted to feel his love. Emma sat in Ryan's car, her mind racing with emotions. The memory of seeing him kiss another woman was burned into her heart. Yet here she was, wrapped in his arms, drowning in his kisses. She wanted to hate him, to push him away. But the way his lips moved against hers, the way his hands held her like she was the most precious thing in the world, it shattered all her defenses. Ryan's fingers traced her jawline, his touch so gentle that it sent shivers down her spine. Emma, he whispered, pressing soft kisses along her neck. I love you. Only you. Tears pooled in her eyes. Then why, Ryan? Why did you kiss her? Her voice broke and he froze. His forehead rested against hers as he sighed. It was a mistake, Emma. She kissed me, and I pulled away the moment I realized what was happening. But I swear, it meant nothing. Emma searched his eyes, looking for any sign of a lie, but all she saw was desperation, love, regret. Ryan cupped her face again, his thumbs wiping away the tears that had escaped. You're my world, he whispered before capturing her lips in another deep kiss. This time it was slow, filled with passion, longing, and a silent plea for forgiveness. Emma's body betrayed her, responding to his every touch. She wrapped her arms around his neck, pressing closer until there was no space between them. His hands roamed her back, holding her like he was afraid she would disappear. She pulled away slightly, breathing heavily. Ryan, I don't know if I can forget this. His eyes darkened with emotion as he pressed his forehead against hers. Then don't forget it. Just let me prove to you that my love is real. His voice was hoarse, filled with pain. Emma's heart ached. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust him, but the fear of being hurt again lingered in her mind. Instead of answering, she leaned in, kissing him again, pouring all her confusion, pain, and love into it. Ryan responded instantly, his hands gripping her waist as if he never wanted to let go. At that moment, Emma realized something. Love wasn't just about trust. It was about fighting for the person who made your heart beat faster, even when everything felt broken. Emma sat in Ryan's car, her breath still uneven from their last kiss. The way his lips moved against hers, the way his hands traced her skin, it was intoxicating. She wanted to stay lost in him, to forget the pain, but a voice in her head kept reminding her of what she had seen. Ryan tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. Emma, please don't shut me out, he whispered, his voice filled with desperation. She looked into his blue eyes, searching for answers. Instead, she found something else, love, regret, longing. It made her chest tighten. Ryan, I don't know if I can trust you again, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Ryan didn't say anything. Instead, he cupped her face and kissed her again, soft at first as if asking for permission. Emma hesitated but then melted into him, her body responding before her mind could argue. His lips moved against hers, slow and deep, making her forget everything for a moment. His hands roamed down her back, pulling her closer. Emma gasped against his lips as his fingers traced circles on her waist. He kissed her again, longer, deeper, pouring all his emotions into it. She clung to him, her fingers tangled in his hair, her body pressed against his. Ryan pulled away slightly, breathing heavily. His forehead rested against hers as he whispered, I love you, Emma. Only you. Tears welled in her eyes, and she bit her lip. Then promise me that I'll never have to see you with another woman like that again. His arms tightened around her. I promise, he whispered before kissing her again, this time more urgently, as if sealing his vow with his lips. Emma felt the warmth of his love, the desperation in his touch, and for a moment she believed him. Her heart still ached, but as Ryan kissed her again, tracing soft kisses along her jaw and down her neck, she realized something. She still loved him. No matter how much it hurt, her heart belonged to him. Ryan pulled back, his fingers tracing her lips. Stay with me tonight? He asked, his voice low and full of emotion. Emma hesitated, but as he kissed her again, slow and deep, she knew she couldn't walk away. Emma lay in Ryan's arms, her head resting against his chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart. The night had been filled with kisses, whispered promises, and raw emotions neither of them could deny. But as the morning sun peeked through the curtains, reality crept back in. Could she truly forget what she had seen? Could she trust him again? Ryan stirred, his arms tightening around her as he pressed a soft kiss to her forehead. Good morning, beautiful, he murmured, his voice deep and full of warmth. Emma lifted her gaze to meet his, searching for any sign of dishonesty. But all she saw was love. Deep, unshaken love. She sighed, running her fingers through his hair. Ryan, I want to believe you. I want to trust you again. Ryan sat up, cupping her face gently. Then let me prove it to you. I'll do whatever it takes, Emma. Just don't walk away from me. His lips brushed against hers, hesitant at first, as if afraid she would pull away. But Emma didn't. She let herself get lost in his kiss, soft, slow, filled with an unspoken promise. Ryan deepened the kiss, his hands trailing down her back, pulling her closer. Emma sighed against his lips, wrapping her arms around his neck. His touch ignited a fire inside her, reminding her of every moment they had shared, every love-filled night, every time he had held her like she was his world. He kissed her again, long, lingering, desperate. I love you, he whispered between kisses, his lips tracing down her jawline. I will never hurt you again. Tears pricked Emma's eyes, and she held his face in her hands. Then promise me I'll never have to doubt your love again. Ryan took her hands in his, pressing soft kisses against her knuckles. I swear, Emma, you are my everything. Emma felt the last pieces of her broken heart slowly mend. Maybe love wasn't perfect. Maybe it hurt. But looking into Ryan's eyes, feeling the warmth of his embrace, she knew this love was worth fighting for. She pulled him into another deep kiss, sealing their promise, their love, their future. No matter what, they would fight for each other.